Hi everybody and welcome to the midweek market update from Smack the Markets for the 26th of August. So this week has been a very slow week so far, not a great deal of news on the schedule to sort of stimulate the markets. That is until Thursday and Friday of this week, and this is really what the markets have been waiting for, and that's the Jackson Hole Symposium. Mr. Powell is the hot topic of the event itself, and he's scheduled to speak sometime on Thursday, so we don't have an exact time on that yet, but there is rumored to be news or developments on the Fed policy, and particularly around inflation. So that's, I think, is what the markets are sort of holding off for. There certainly doesn't seem to be an awful lot of activity in the run-up to that. So let's take a look at how the markets have fared that we discussed on Monday, and some of the opportunities that we're looking at going into the remainder of the week here. So if we take a look at the Dow here, you can see that the market has come off its highs at the beginning of the week. It's pulled back into a technical level here around that sort of 28,180 area, finding support around that sort of price point at the moment. Now on lower time frames, this is actually sort of consolidating into quite a nice sort of narrow consolidation. And with the Dow and the S&Ps and the Nasdaq at the moment looking sort of fairly bullish, we're looking at possibly a run up here to retest the highs, certainly up to retest this sort of 28,350 area in the near term. I think then it's really going to be a case of waiting for the direction from Mr. Powell, and that, I think, is really what the markets are sort of waiting for. So again, intraday opportunities for us here on the Dow, particularly looking at long opportunities where the markets are sort of consolidating at the moment. If we come and have a look at gold, now on Monday we mentioned about the sort of consolidation that the gold market has been moving in. It's still contained within that sort of consolidation. The stop level here at 1920 is looking sort of particularly nice. When I say a stop level, it's just a nice area here where we could be looking at sort of stop locations if we're looking at longs. Now I like this market long. I don't know whether we're going to get a break here during the sort of second half of this week, but I do think towards the end of the year this market's going to be significantly higher. So I am looking at sort of positioning here. At the moment I don't have an entry, but we've got a potential sort of stop location where the market is forming around these lows or just underneath these lows at 1920. If we have a look at silver, it's very sort of similar situation here with silver, again in the consolidation. So from a technical perspective, entries, if we can get a better entry on silver or on gold, we're pretty much sort of trading the same market. If one of these fires off long, both of them are going to go in the same sort of direction. Now of course equally they could move to the short side, and it could be a fairly swift move depending upon what happens on Thursday. So if we take a look at the CAD yen, which we discussed on Monday, and we're looking at this consolidation here on the 4-hour time frame. We're looking for this to break to the high side, and you can see that the market did, and you know, if you'd have traded this and bracketed this, you'd have had target already. The market's now sort of coming back here. So again, from a technical perspective, we're in long trends here. There is a bit of resistance now up here towards these highs. Just mark that in. Where the markets have sort of tested up here around that sort of 81 area, you can see that sort of tested twice now. So again, if we can pull back into geometry regions and identify new opportunities to get positioned, as long as we can get cleared before these highs and risk-free before these highs, is really the sort of play that we'd be looking at. So something on lower time frames where we can get a tighter risk and identify these sort of turning points a little bit more sort of clearly. So it's still liking CAD yen long in the longer term, and again it's just about sort of repositioning for the next leg of the move. Now also, market that's a hot topic in the news at the moment is oil, and this is on the back of the the back of the storms that are forming in the US, and that's having an impact on oil fields in the sort of Gulf of Mexico. So the shutdown of those oil fields due to the storm is starting to have a bit of an impact on the price of oil. Now, oil has been contained within this sort of sideways consolidation for such a long time. It's been very sort of challenging to trade this. In fact, we traded this dip here as we thought that might be the precursor for a deeper sell-off, and we got a couple of targets out of that before the market. I think it was about 3 or 4 targets actually before the market sort of turned around. You can see here actually now that it's been slightly more bullish since that period of time. Now, gold hasn't been a market that's been on our watch list for, or our trading list I should say. It's been on our watch list but not on our trading list for a while, and that's because of this sideways consolidation and a lack of general direction. The reason why it's starting to get a bit more interesting now is because the market's sort of broken above this sort of 43.20 level, where we've had resistance here once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times now. The market's holding above that sort of area, and again it could be some nice sort of technical developments sort of forming there, particularly to the long side. So keeping an eye on oil for a long move on these time frames, but also on the lower time frames. This 4-hour consolidation is looking sort of fairly nice on the lower time frames too. So there's a few markets there that we're keeping a close eye on going into the second half of this week. I certainly hope it helps, and look forward to speaking to you next time. Bye for now.